Has the government actually thought it through and thought the CBC is not important anymore? Welcome to Canada Wide. And don't forget to like and subscribe. This news has come out from the Toronto Star of all newspapers, and I'm not sure what happened to the online gambling license, but and Doug Ford. But let's continue here. So they have a news article which seems very surprising that they would criticize the CBC. And what happened with the CBC recently is they laid off 600 people, which is 10% of their workforce. And they're talking about how media in Canada is struggling. And a lot of it is the viewing habits, which mean people don't need to turn on at 6 p.m. or 11 or whatever and listen to the news, and they're forced news down for 30 minutes. Even if there's no news, they have to say something about someone. And a lot of people are not watching the way they used to, and their habits have changed. And if Pierre Poilievre comes in, he's going to change the whole model, i.e., no government funding and still have commercials. So, which I think is a good idea. The CBC, if they think they're that super duper, let them pay themselves and pay their own dinner. And here, the minister, Pascal, heritage minister, and she has taken a job from the horrible Pablo with all their fiascos that they had with their hiring practices. But she's the one that brought this up. And they go down here 88 years of history, and it's changed a lot. And it has changed because 88 years ago, it was only radio. I'm not sure the first TV came out in black and white one, I guess 1940 or 50 or something like that. But for them, the CBC, the time has come. They don't need to be everywhere, and people can watch stuff on their phone. And they also go through here the cool $1.4 billion. And let me remind you, CBC is not commercial free. So they still got commercials. So they get 1.4 billion from government, taxpayers, and then probably another 1.4 billion from commercials. And the play, and I would almost think that some of the commercials are the government. Like, I'm not sure if they count that. Like, if they do get a government contract for Health Canada, that is revenue, or is that tax money? But let's look on here. Per capita, we only spend $33 a year. That's not much. Wow. You know, that's the $33 by 40 million people. So that's $1.3 billion. That's how they justify it. So let me flip that, what that would be per year. There you go. If it was CBC was an app, $2.75 a month. Why are you so cheap? Why don't you do that? And what's wrong with this? And this is probably how they justify themselves. 40 million people watching CBC. Do you really believe it? Every single Canadian watches it? I don't believe that's true at all. Let's have a look how many people actually watch CBC. So according to this article, 4%, only 4% of Canadians watch CBC TV. So that's 160,000 people. So for $1.3 billion, that works out to about $80 a person. So, you know, this is what really should be then. There, this is more in line, $82 a month. I don't know if the 160,000 people pay for their own CBC is really what it should get at. Well, they do talk about the newly established Canadian Media Trust, which I highly doubt, once again, if it's run by the current government, it's going to be horrible again because they cannot control themselves with information. And this is actually refreshing that the article came out, but, you know, trying to make this new Canadian Media Trust Fund to overtake what the CBC has done is not going to happen in my eyes. And they should just really go back to the basic and charge people, the CBC. Let Canadians pay for it. If you want the CBC News, then pay for it. And it doesn't have to be CBC News. They can give their outstanding shows like the Beachcombers and whatever they have. I will not be subscribing to them, but they have a lot of content. What's wrong with letting people pay? Let them pay for the content. If they can't get the money, then they cut the shows. That's all they got to do. And welcome to the real world. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll leave a link of this news article. Thanks for watching.